What's up, y'all? Good morning. How y'all doing? It's like 11:30, almost at noon time on this Friday, this beautiful Friday. The sun finally came out. It was kind of cloudy this morning. Yeah, just decided to jump on here, kill some time. Let me see. I don't want to talk about the day this Friday the 24th, 2024. I know some people probably think about how in the world did I get caught up in like addiction? How did that even happen? And wow, it was 20 years ago. My birthday, August of 2003, actually. So almost 21 years ago. August 2003. And I had a party. I threw myself a little birthday party. And one of my female friends, she came to the party. And then she was like, why don't we, one weekend, all of us, it was like a group of us, 7, I'm gonna say, like go to this casino. And I had never really had no interest in no casino. The only gambling I had done prior, was play, cards like Tunk, something like that at the house. Win a couple hundred, maybe lose a couple hundred, that kind of thing. And that was it. So when she introduced the casino, and I remember my first time going, and it was like either a week or 2 weeks after my birthday, but it was August of 2003. And it was like lights, camera, action. It was like, whoa, it was like a whole new world type situation. And I remember the first thing I played was roulette. And I remember, because one of my friends, that's what he played, so I played. But it's putting the chips, on the thing. I remember going to the bathroom, and then I'm sorry about that. I remember going to the bathroom, and on my way back, it was a slot machine, and then I put a 20 in there, and it was like a $5 slot machine. And like I think on the second spin, I won like $200-300. Like, and this is back during the casino time when the what do you call it? The coins fell out. Now I think when you play slot machines, you get slips. So I'm dating myself here. So when I started gambling, it was like when they were, starting the slips and getting away with the coins. But anyway, so playing roulette. I remember one time I was there by myself, and I couldn't win for nothing. I put my chips in black, red would go, wherever, and it was crazy. And I think I had got down to like $15. And then I sat down and I had played 3-card poker. And that $15, I took that $15 all the way up to $1,300. Now mind you, I think I sat down at that 3-card table. It had been like, I'm gonna say like 10:30, 11 in the morning. And I was there till like 2 a.m. the following morning off of that $15. So that's how they got, I was hooked. I was able to turn $15 into $1,300. But then I remember as the months went along, this is August, and now we're in October. And I'm like, you know what? This ain't the life for me. I don't want to do this. I'm not gonna waste my money. I can be doing whatever. So I told myself I wasn't gonna go to the casino more. That was it. And that same female friend that introduced it to me, this one particular day after work, she came to my apartment trying to convince me to, go to the casino with him. I didn't want to go. And then I was like, well, if my boy Hunt go, then I go. And me and Hunt had already previously talked, because he was like, I ain't going either, whatever. So I threw that out there knowing, okay, Hunt ain't gonna go, that'll get him, whatever. So then I guess they went to Hunt. And then they used this like reverse psychology type thing. Jay said he'll go if you go. They told Hunt that. Now Hunt having already spoken to him, he's like, well, Jay said he wasn't going, but he done changed his mind. So if I go, so then I go. So they played both of us. And we went to the casino. And the young lady, I think her driver's license was suspended, right? So it was like we drove her truck, because me and Hunt had cars. We drove her SUV, and we went. And Hunt was to drive there, which he did, and I was to drive back. And I remember I had lost my car note money. But I was so sick. I couldn't even drive back. In the SUV, I was in the backpack, like where you put the luggage and your grocery, laying in the back in the fetal position because I had just lost my car note money. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? You know, I couldn't believe it, man. So that was like October of 03. I think I was in Alabama. And so, you know, between October of 03 and March, you know, I would go to the casino, drive to Tunica, which was like a 4-hour drive, you know, this, that, and the third. But then I was in the military, so I got PCS. I moved to Louisiana, Baton Rouge. Oh, man. That season right there, I was in Baton Rouge for 2.5 years, I believe. March of 04 to October 06. September 06. I was in New Orleans for a couple of months in the end. But anyway, I was in Louisiana for that month, 2.5 years. I never forget it. Where back before, $100 would last you all day. Now I'm in Louisiana at the riverboats, and $100 may last you 20 minutes. I was like, what? $100 lasts you all day, but over here, $100 may last you 20 minutes. So now I'm 600 in, and I've been here not even 2 hours. I'm like, oh my God. So that's how I started when I got to Louisiana in March of 04. So people that's watching this that was stationed with me during that time, you know, I was sick, bro. That addiction spirit got on me and would not let me go. That addiction spirit had me like in a chokehold. And I remember May of 04. Now, mind you, I just got to the unit in March. A couple months later, May. And this is May we're in now, but it wasn't Memorial Weekend. It was like the first week in May. Second week. It was the second and third week in May. That's what it was. Second and third week. The same girl that started me gambling, she and her friend had drove from Huntsville, Alabama to Biloxi, which I'm not sure how many hours that is from Huntsville, Alabama. But for me, from Baton Rouge, it was only 1 hour and 45 minutes. And I remember driving there. And man, I was losing bad. To the point where they was there for the weekend, they left, and I still was there. I never told anybody this, I don't think, not many people, but I was AWOL. I was missing in action, MIA, close to 2 weeks, I want to say. I mean, military can't find me, my family can't find me, my family, my sister hired a private investigator. Like, all this went on. You know, I'm sleeping in my car. Like, I had comp rooms, free rooms, but then nights that I didn't have free rooms, I would sleep in my car, and I would get up, and I would go, like, you know, wash my teeth, you know, PT, wash the essentials in the bathroom of the hotel, whatever. Not hotel, but the casino. And, but I was losing bad. I mean, and I didn't go home, I didn't call nobody, whatever. And I remember my phone had died. And I remember somewhere in there, I finally charged my phone, and I heard like voicemails from people, different family members, some co-workers, but a lot of family members, cousins, whatever. I heard my sister's voicemail, and she left a lot of them. And, you know, it gradually, her voice started changing to like panic and all that. And that's what led me to go back home. So then now, the 11, 12 days, whatever, I drove back home. And this 2004, I'm still dealing with this addiction. So fast forward the next year, 2005, February, I got, you know, I'm in school. I, you know, enrolled in school in fall of 04, Southern University. I'm a Southernite, yes sir. And I enrolled in school, so I'm getting, you know, refund check and all that, gambling it. Now, fast forward to February 04, I had got my refund check and all this. Now, I'm in debt, right? But I got this refund check, so this refund check can get me right, clear my debt, pay everything, whatever, but I chose the gambling. And when I did that, I lost all that. You know what I'm saying? And it was bad. And so I got evicted out of that apartment. And I thank God for Master Sergeant Chapman. They call him Chappie. I know he's been retired by now. I can't think of Master Sergeant Chapman's first name. But we know military, we go by last names. But he got me into rehab. And he didn't go through like the military channels, because they probably would have wanted to do other stuff. But he got me into rehab, and I was in rehab for Gamblers Anonymous for 36 days in Shreveport, Louisiana. And when I got there, man, I thought I had it bad. But now I'm in rehab with all these other people. I'm talking about, and I know people think like, their first thought was, why are you gambling? You're in the military, you make money, da, da, da. But that's not how a gambler, or a compulsive one anyway, that's not how they get to that point. Most of the time, first of all, you got to have money to gamble. So a lot of times you can be a doctor, a lawyer, a soldier, or some prominent person, white collar, blue collar, whatever. But it don't necessarily like, the picture don't have to be like a poor person in need of money. But people turn to gambling like depressed. They turn to gambling for like just like someone would turn to drinking, like an escape. All these other things, they turn to gambling, right? You know, so that's what happened with me while I was in rehab. And I'm shocked, because I'm in rehab with like doctors, lawyers, very prominent people in society. Like I told a friend of mine, I'm not going to disclose the celeb, but it was a celebrity. If you're I do it like this: if you're in the sports world, and I say the name, you would definitely know who the person is. But not him. His son, his adult young son, was in rehab with me the time I was there. Literally, like my bunkmate. Like we had one room, there was like 4 in the room, and he slept right next to me in the bunk. We was cool. We was like this in rehab. Because in rehab, it wasn't no celeb there. No, we all was there because we all got a problem, all trying to fix it. But I was there for 36 months. Got out of that. Then I remember what happened. One of the NCOs on my job, at the time he was dating this woman who had her own place, but she was basically staying with him at his place. So she wanted to sublease her apartment to me. So then now I'm paying her rent, staying in her apartment. And everything was cool until her and him broke up. Then she moved back in, right? But I'm still there, paying all the rent and everything. And she was bipolar, but you know, it happens. And now, you know, I'm fresh out of rehab. I'm not really going to casino. I'm not even going for real. And I remember one evening, it was a Sunday. I'm tired, it's like 7. And it's a 1-bedroom. So I'm in the bedroom, and she wants to bring a male friend over. But undoubtedly, the male friend, I guess, didn't want me to know, because I knew the male friend, a soldier that I probably worked with, and he didn't want me to know that he was coming there to see the lady, because, you know, she was going with, or you know, whatever, on and off with this other military guy. So the lady wanted me to leave for like 2-3 hours, and I'm tired, you know. I want to say it was like drill weekends. I had worked all Sunday, and I'm like, what? I was mad. I went to the casino, man. And, you know, I probably lost 100, maybe won 100. I don't know. It wasn't nothing big or major, but the fact that I went, that drove me to the casino, because I was just mad. Like, what's he putting me out? I'm paying all the rent. So then I remember when I left, I packed my stuff up and I left. And then she wrote my supervisors like a letter or whatever, because I left before the 1st of the following month. And I guess she was counting on that money. And so because I left, now we ain't had no like actual like lease written up, whatever. So she writing down, he let her trying to get me to come back, and I wasn't coming back. So that was that. Then I remember one time I stayed with this Timothy Keys. Thank God for Tim. And Tim is actually, the Tim story happened before this, because when I got evicted, that's when I went and stayed with Tim. Now let me go back to the eviction thing. That was crazy. That was humbling. That was like how they say, a humiliation ritual. They say that on YouTube. But anyway, because when the people came, I may be saying the name wrong. Is it called constable? They're not the police, but they are the police, whatever. They're like, okay, you got to get out. You've been evicted. And he saw that I was a soldier, because I want to say I must have put my uniform on. I ain't did nothing like leaving, like far as furniture packing up, whatever. So he got in touch with my unit. So what was a blessing but a humbling, like there was about 14, 15 people, male people in my unit came to assist me in getting out this apartment. You know, people had their trucks and all this, and I'm looking like, oh shit, you know, now my peoples know, they know what's going on with me or whatever. So that's what happened, and I wound up going to stay with Tim. Thank God for Timothy. You know, Timothy opened up his home to me, stayed there. I slept on the floor. He had a 1-bedroom, but I slept on the floor. I didn't care. And that was that. And you know, just during my time in Louisiana, the year and a half I had left, staying here, staying there, what have you, and wound up in 06. No, I mean, I'm skipping some stuff. So 06, spring 06. I don't know what's up with May, but it was like May time 06. Staying in this one place. Now, was it May? Was it May or was it? I think it was May. I was staying in this one place, right? Doing good, paying my rent and all that. And this is like post Katrina. So if anybody from Louisiana, or you know, you heard of the different shenanigans and stuff that was going on during that time, this E6 who owned, him and his wife, 4 townhouses, they was trying to make money. Okay, so they sold their townhouses and didn't tell the tenants. They put it in the paper, so we didn't even know they had sold the townhouses. So they sold the townhouses to this company, and this is doing like after Katrina. So my rent at the time, you know, was like $4. Imagine that, paying $4 something. You can't even find no rent like that now. My rent was like $4.50. You know, 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath. It was a townhouse. And he sold it to this lady, and she raised the rent from $4.50 all the way to $7.75. So I'm in a lease. I'm still in my old lease. And what she was doing, she was trying to get the people that was in those 4 townhouses to move out, because if you were, I don't know, I should say a victim or whatever part of Katrina, you needed someone to stay. Because that was a hard thing. You couldn't find nowhere to stay, really, in Baton Rouge, because everything was booked up. And they would give you, I guess, vouchers. I don't know, was it the Red Cross or was it Salvation Army? It might have been Red Cross, but vouchers to give to your leasing office, whatever. Okay, this is for rent. So you could say, if I'm a owner of an apartment complex, oh, the rent is $1,200. So that they'll cut the voucher for $1,200, and then that's what I get. So that's what she was wanting. She was one of those kind of people that was relying on these vouchers for rent, because she could make more money that way, and trying to boot everybody else out. So I was like the last one standing. I wouldn't move out. Mind you, she had raised it up to $7.75 from $4.50 to $7.75. So now the old lease that I was in currently with old boy is over. Now she got a new lease. In her new lease, now I'm already staying. I'm already a tenant. She's talking about, so I need 3 months to rent up front. Wait, I've been here already a year. Now you want 3 months to rent up front, and you done raised the thing from $4.50 to $7.75. So I wouldn't sign that lease. And before the first came, I had left. Got my stuff left out. So she contacted my union. So I owe her, you know, $800, because she added late fees and all these other fees, $800 or some dollars for the rent and all this, whatever. And I went to JAG trying to talk to them. Yeah, this is what she's doing. Da 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 da. They didn't want to hear it. JAG didn't want to, because I guess it was out of their jurisdiction dealing with her. So they didn't want to hear it in that regard. Not like they was egging me, but they felt like that was out of their jurisdiction. I need to get a lawyer outside of the military, basically what they told me, if I want to deal with that. So that right there, after all these shenanigans that my leadership had dealt with me, the past, that prompted them to initiate a field grade Article 15. So if you guys don't know what that is, a field grade Article 15, because I'm an E6 promotable at the time, and a field grade that would, take me down to E5, probably got to pay some money. It's not good. It's not a good look. So they did the field grade Article 15. I was brought back to an E5 and all that. But what they didn't do, thank God, they failed because it's different processes. So when they did that, they didn't remove me off of the promotion standard list. I was an E6 promotable. So I'm still showing up on a promotion list as an E6 promotable, right? I got orders to PCS and leave and go to Fort Lee for school, ANOC. And then from there, they had canceled my orders because they wanted me to stay. Their thing was for me to stay there, initiate this field grade Article 15, and I just get out the Army there. That's what their plan was. But God had other plans. So I appealed the field grade Article 15. And I remember being in one meeting in the colonel's office with like leadership standing around. And one thing I can say about me, this ain't a boast, this just stating facts. My life before the casino and all that gambling addiction, I was that soldier. Soldier of the month, NCO of the quarter. I was that kind of soldier, So I knew regulations. I knew my rights. And see, they didn't bank on me knowing my rights. So I knew that I can repeal. I knew I can write a rebuttal. I knew that I can get a one-on-one with the colonel without them in the room. And it was, no, we ain't gonna leave, no. And the colonel was like, I can't deny him this. This is right. Like, y'all gotta leave. You gotta want to talk to me one-on-one. Because they knew they didn't want me to have any kind of, me to persuade the colonel and go in another direction. Because they was bent on getting me out the military, field grade Article 15 and all that. So I appealed and everything. And I got advice from different people, leadership, other leadership that wasn't on the bandwagon trying to get me out. Like, you can appeal. They can't, during the appeal process, they can't do anything to you, but it can either stay the same or it can make your situation better. It can't get worse, but they don't want to tell you that. So I appealed, wrote my rebuttal and all this, right? So when I appealed, it went up higher. So the next higher above the full-bird colonel is a one-star general, another command sergeant major, the 377. I was in the 321st. Our unit above us, we fell under the 377. So when it got down there, I believe the sergeant major was Sergeant Major Jackson. I don't know how I remember his name, but it was Command Sergeant Major Jackson. I cannot remember the general's name, but I remember getting a call. I never forget this. My birthday was either that Friday or Saturday, but I got the call that Sunday from whatever lieutenant that was over that my case, because it went up higher. So they had like a lawyer. I was a lieutenant, but it was a lawyer he was either a captain lieutenant, but he was the lawyer over that field grade Article 15. And he called me on that Sunday, and he was like, Sergeant Johnson, everything's your slate been wiped clean. The field grade Article 15 been thrown out. When you show up to work on Monday, you put your E6 back on. All this. So this is all God, you know what I'm saying? My appeal won. I won my appeal, but my unit wouldn't tell me. This is a lawyer / JAG person from the 377. He calling me from Louisiana, and I'm in Baton Rouge, and so that's that Sunday. So then I show up to work on that Monday, with my E6 on and all that. So then, just like it took a lot of different things to get to that point to you just can't put someone out. It's like a lot of paperwork and stuff like that. So what the unit, the people that wanted to like get me out, that group, they didn't want to lift the flag. Because, everything's back like it was. I can PCS now. I can be put back on orders. But because the flag was on me, I couldn't PCS. I just stayed there. So what wound up happening, the unit that I was in, the 321st, I'm an active duty soldier working at a reserve unit. They call it ACRC in the Army. That unit was deactivating 1 October, physical year. And by me being active, I couldn't be there. For orders for me to move, it had to come from HRC. So how they got around that was the beginning of September of that year. They sent me to the 377th, the headquarters, because the headquarters didn't deactivate. It was the 321st. So I was there. And then, so I'm there, waiting it out, trying to see if they would lift this flag so I can go on and leave. So I remember it was approaching the 1 October, and I was on leave. Right now, my TDY orders ended like 31 or 30 September. And with the military, you're in a new fiscal year, 1 October, new orders gonna take them like, a week, 5 business days, whatever. So they was trying to send me back to what was the old 321st. And that's what some of the people was still there that was trying to put me out. I'm sorry about that, y'all. So then I was on leave. Remember I told you I was on leave, right? So I came in like 2 days before my leave ended. And at the time, there was an acting commander. This is the 377, because I'm down here TDY. I said, this is what we can do. We can just extend my leave like by a week. And within that week, the new orders, because we're in a new fiscal year, will have been, have been made or produced. And then I can just stay down here versus going back there. And there was an acting commander at the time. So he approved it. So when I stayed an extra week and I came back, one of the NCOs, Master Sergeant Moloch, who was trying to, get me out or whatever, she was pissed. She thought I did something wrong. I jumped the system. I did, whatever. And we was in the command office like I didn't do nothing wrong. Extending your leave, people do that all the time. It's up to the commanders to approve it. Just so happens the commander who was in their pocket was on leave, and it was an active commander. See what I'm saying? And he approved it. So that happened, right? Okay, so now it's time for my write-up, my evaluation, right? I want to say it was either an annual, because you know how it works. That like if your supervisor is leaving or you've been there a year, however it is, it was time for me to get an evaluation, right? So I hadn't got a couple, prior, especially when I got into the, the issue with the rent thing, whatever, and the Article 15. So this evaluation that was drawn up, it was like worse than anyone I've ever gotten before, right? And my current supervisor, he knew it was fraudulent, so he refused to sign. I'm not going with that, because it was the master sergeant. She was like 2 steps up above the E7 that was my boss. He was like, Sergeant First Class Clark, Henry Clark. He's like, I ain't going for that. Nah, y'all trying to, because y'all couldn't get him with the Field Grade Article 15, and he appealed and won. Y'all trying to get him this way, and he wasn't going for it. So what they did was, she tried to go through a previous NCO supervisor of mine during the time when the Field Grade Article 15 was initiated and all that. This guy had them PCS and left. Sergeant First Class Fox. He had them left, but his family was still in the area. And he had PCS, I want to say somewhere in Georgia. So her game plan was Sergeant Fox would come like every other weekend to see his family. So when he would come, she wanted him to come and sign this info, y'all, because this is back before they did the electrical signature. This is your hand jam, John Hancock. Sign it, and then go on. So then I get that, because I can't remember exactly how it goes, but I think I know I signed, but I think I'm the last one to sign, or one of the last one. After all the other people did their thing, I got to sign. So when I saw it, to sign, I'm like, this is not Sean Fox's signature. So then I take it to the OIC, the officer in charge of the S1, who was a major. This is 377. And I'm telling her, ma'am, this is Sean Fox. Not only is he my old supervisor who PCS, this is not even his signature. And I had, you know, I'm that dude, you know what I'm saying? I went to boy, I know my rights, I know regulation, all that. So I pull up all these old NCOERs that I have with his signature. I said, you see all these signatures on here, and look at this one. So she was like, well, do you have his number? I said, yeah. So she called him. I'm sitting in there. She got him on speaker. She, you know, this is Major so-and-so. I got Son Johnson here. There was an NCOER that your signature's on it, and he's saying it's not your signature. I just want to know, did you sign it? He's like, well, ma'am, I did come home the weekend. I came to Louisiana to visit my family, but I was supposed to stop there, but I forgot. And now I'm back in Georgia. I did not sign it. No. So now the major's like, okay, he didn't sign this. This was forged, you know. So now she jumps up, leave me in her office. She go to the Sergeant Major. Then Sergeant Major want to see me. I go in there. Then he bring Master Sergeant Moloch in there. And then he send me out. Needless to say, 2 weeks later, I was on orders, leaving, going to Fort Lee. He like, yeah, they trying to railroad you. So then I got to Fort Lee, PCS, you know, in ANOC and all that. And I hadn't seen the casino. It took like 3.5 years before I had stepped foot in a casino. And I still played Tunk, you know, that kind of thing. And I had a house that I had closed. Well, I hadn't closed on it. It was 2 weeks before closing. This house built from ground up, everything. And 2 weeks from closing, the bank pulled out. Man. And that's when I went to the casino. I drove from Virginia to Atlantic City. So that's how I started back gambling. You know, this gambling thing, it's been with me for like 20 years. But I thank God. I thank God for the Holy Ghost. I thank God that I don't have to deal with that no more. And I do know now that me going through that, it served two purposes. It's for other people to a testimony, an example for others that's gonna come after me to know that you know, you don't have to, you know, you can get out of that. God can deliver you from that. And then just in the gambling itself, going through that addiction, it molded and shaped me and built my character and made me to another person for the betterment. Even like singing, like I sang in the choir, whatever. But I think after that, it's like my whole singing was different. Kind of like that whole situation. You can sing about trials and tribulations and all this, but if every day is a sunny day, then what is a sunny day? You're not going to really appreciate and know what a sunny day is unless you've had some cloudy days, unless you've had some stormy days, unless you had some downright tsunamis and hurricanes going on in your life. You won't know what a sunny day is or to appreciate it. So me having gone through that, I learned how to appreciate the good days and stuff like that. I remember going through the gambling thing. I would try to do things just to like remind me of my old self. You know, because it was crazy. I was looking in the mirror. I didn't even recognize who I was in the mirror. It was like that. So when I would get paid, I would at least try to, you know, go to the movies, get my hair cut, you know. When I was going through all the gambling, whatever, you didn't know it, man. This went back when we pressed our uniforms. I kept a fade, uniform press. I had a Z3 BMW convertible. It black. Y'all know when you watch a black car, that thing look good. So you couldn't tell by just looking. But, man, I was going through hell. My life was hell. But you couldn't tell just by looking at me. So, yeah, man, addiction. I just pray for any and everybody who's dealing with the addiction spirit. It can be gambling. It could be alcohol. It could be drugs. It could be sex addiction. It could be shopping addiction. I almost got caught up. Well, I did, you know, almost. I got caught up into the addictions shopping. Ain't that crazy? The addiction spirit, I stopped gambling like I used to. I mean, I still went to the casino. I ain't gonna lie, I went like maybe once or twice a year. Like that kind of thing. And I would play tongue. But I just let it go completely. But addiction would show up in like shopping. I got hooked up, what is it, like designer clothes or whatever. I was all right. I wore my little Nike or whatever, that said I went into the whole designer thing, but then I got into it and I started liking it. And that can be addictive. You spending $800-900 on shoes, like, what? That's an addiction too. Some people don't want to recognize it, but that's an addiction as well. Now, I'm not sitting here saying don't buy nice things. If you work hard and God bless you, yes, buy nice things. But just keep in mind, you ain't gotta, I remember one person telling us all their belts was like, Gucci and Valentino. I'm like, really? All your belts? But this addiction can show up in any way. That devil is a trickster, You're thinking the obvious, like drinking or drugs. But people ain't thinking about like gambling could be an addiction. The shopping could be an addiction. Sex could be an addiction. It's all kind of addiction things, man. So you got to pray and really mean it, man. And God, I please, I can't go on like this. Take this addiction spirit from me. This is, I can't go on. I had to fall on my face a couple times, 3-4 times. Lord, what is going on? Why am I going through this? Please take this addiction spirit away from me. And he did, y'all. I mean, I tell y'all, God delivered me from that. Like, for real. Like, I can't even play tongue. I can't do none of that kind of stuff, man. Because tongue, it ain't at the level. And let me tell y'all this about when I say I keep throwing out tongue versus casino. I used the analogy, I told one of my friends, I said, playing tongue is like, you smoke a cigarette or maybe a weed smoker. Casino gambling, that's like doing heroin, crackhead. It's like that extreme. It's like a whole nother level. You may lose, $100 here playing tongue. Casino gambling, if you're a compulsive, addicted person, you'll gamble your mortgage, your car note, all that. You know what I'm saying? And a gambler, just like a person on drugs or whatever, they're going to find a way to get that money. They may not, robbing and stealing from people. I ain't talking about that. But like pawning stuff that they got or different things they'll do. But yeah, man. Yeah, I'm here. So y'all say, well, hey, I ain't know he had all that going on. Yeah. That happened to me, man. I was 30 years old, 20 years ago. And that addiction spirit jumped on me. So, and I know my family, my mom was like, what the hell is going on? David calling me, he need money for some food and get a haircut. They probably understand what that was. E6 in the Army, why he need money from me to get some food and a haircut? I was down bad, but you couldn't tell from the outside. And then I had a job in the military too. Man, the more you know. But I thank God for the Holy Ghost. I thank God for just saving me from that, delivering me from that. And I hope you guys enjoy your Friday, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Be safe. In the Army, the little safety briefing. This is your safety briefing. If you drink, don't drive. If you drive, don't drink. Get a designated driver. If you swim, don't drink. If you drink, don't swim. If you barbecue, put some ribs on the side for me too. Have a great day, y'all. I went to the barbershop last night and I'm sweating. I put like 87 today. Woo. Let me cut the L on. I cut it down for y'all can hear me. But I'm gonna cut it jump back up. Y'all have a blessed day, man. Be great. On purpose. Take somebody to lunch, man. Treat somebody to lunch. It's Friday. It's a holiday. Pay for the person lunch in front of you. Or behind you. Just do it. Behind you. Or in front of you. It don't matter. I got you. Bring mine up. I'm paid for it. You good. And just keep it on. Okay, I got you. God bless you. And keep it moving, man. I love you. Bye-bye.